I felt like a lot of the camaraderie between, Zac Efron and the rest of the cast was hilarious. But me, who am I here for? John Cena.
I want you to admit that Ricky Stanicky does not exist.
Hey, mas
This is Ted Summerhays, my boss.
Ted, nice to meet you. Digging the suit and the seedlings, man.
The seedlings.
The hair plugs, they're new, right?
This is my hair.
We're gonna lose our jobs.
What's up, YouTube? Drive-By Movies here. You're watching
Fresh releases.
My name is James.
My name's Blaise.
And the Farrelly brothers have sadly broken up. Today we're checking out Peter Farrelly's new film, Ricky Stanicky.
Show's over, Rod.
It's Ricky.
Ricky Stanicky isn't real.
My job sucked, I had no friends. But now I have all those things.
Are you a fraud, sir?
What's she talking about?
We gotta get rid of him.
Amazon Prime's Ricky Stanicky tells the story of three childhood best friends that pull a prank that goes wrong. They invent the imaginary Ricky Stanicky to get them out of trouble. 20 years later, they still use the non-existent Ricky as a handy alibi for their immature behavior. So, James, this is a movie that I feel like came out of left field. I think I only found out about this movie like 2 weeks ago, maybe even last week. Like, I was like, oh, there's a new movie on Amazon Prime. Maybe we should check that out since we just saw the epic Dune Part 2. We didn't even announce this. That was our episode 222. I thought that was so strange that Dune Part 2 was episode 222. Just weird how things work out sometimes. But anyways, James, what did you think of Amazon's latest film?
Yeah, so I had a great time with this movie. It's something I watched on, a very fun Friday night. Had some of the devil's lettuce, enjoyed it for, 2 hours, however long the movie was. But I forgot about it literally like the next morning because I watched it right before bed. And, I enjoyed it. It's for a comedy that I kind of expected to be more on the raunchy side. The Farrelly brothers are always known as going the extra mile with their comedies. They're the ones who push boundaries with their Something About Mary and everything. And, a lot of their concepts are also like, ooh, I can't believe they're touching that subject. Movies like Stuck on You or Shallow Hal and stuff. And, Peter Farrelly has gone on to direct Green Book. He's an Academy Award winning filmmaker now. But, going back to comedy, I expected it to be more in that vein. And also after seeing John Cena in Blockers and stuff, too, just because comedies are still raunchy these days. A lot of people said comedies are woke now. And no, you can still get raunchy, but this movie's pretty tame for the most part. It's got a heartfelt message at the end. Like I said, nothing great about it. I just had a fun time. What are your initial thoughts?
Yeah, this feels very much like the streaming movie of March, like it has streaming all over. I don't know if it just felt like kind of like cheap budget and everything. They do have, a decent cast of people that we have all wanted to see in, comedies for a while. There's just isn't that many comedies being made. I feel like Andrew Santino's name's been floating around so long and he's had his opportunities in like the television realm, but for us movie guys, like we haven't really got a chance to see him. And he was, had a really funny role in this movie. I felt like a lot of the camaraderie between, Zac Efron and the rest of the cast was hilarious. But me, who am I here for? John Cena. I didn't really see him in this movie though. Where was he? See what I did there?
I see.
But yeah, anyways, I enjoyed this. It's just like a typical streaming movie. It had its funny moments, but I do feel like it played itself safe often. There were the raunchy aspects that you mentioned, but it was specifically with John Cena's like day gig before he becomes Ricky Stanicky. And that joke did seem like it played just too long. Like I don't know. It was like kind of funny, but then I'm like, okay, this joke's going on way too long. I think John Cena is like a really good physical comedian, and even if in the Academy Awards last week, just his moment was like probably the best moment of the Academy Awards, where he's like naked on stage basically, which I'm like, dude, this guy just signs up to do anything. It feels like anything writers will give him, he'll figure it out, he'll make it funny. But yeah, I think like he was definitely the shining star in this film. Like you mentioned, Blockers is kind of one of those movies where he definitely elevated that piece. I wouldn't necessarily say he saved this movie, but I think like without him, this movie wouldn't be possible.
Absolutely, yeah. That he's definitely the one who keeps it together. Just because we kind of have three. I mean, well, I don't want to say they're unlikable. I'm glad you brought Andrew Santino up because he is someone I wanted to bring up. Just because I enjoy watching him on TikTok. I'm constantly seeing clips of him and Bobby Lee from the Best Friends podcast. I enjoy watching those, and I know he was supposed to be one of the leads in the show How I Met Your Father with Greta Gerwig, but I think we even mentioned that too a couple weeks ago. But just, he never got his moment to shine. That show got canceled, but it seems like he's getting popular on TikTok. And, this is a big role for him in this movie. It wasn't just some side character. I've seen him as a side character in like Curb Your Enthusiasm, but no, he's one of the main players of the movie. Of course, Zac Efron's the main character. And then we also have the son of Prince Akeem from Coming to America Part 2. I think was that called Coming to America, or was it Coming to America Part 2?
No, it was 2. It was the number 2. You got it.
That's what I thought. Yeah. So, cool that he's been into Amazon movies. I've seen him live as a comedian. He is a funny guy. He was the only character that was likable and had a conscience overall. Getting into spoilers of the movie, because I mean, right away at the movie, that they're gonna get caught eventually. It's gonna get found out that Ricky Stanicky does not exist, and when it finally comes out, I'm just like, really? All y'all are just accepting these guys? Like, F these guys. I'd be like, oh, hell no. Been lying my whole life and just like, this is it? That's all that's happening to them? Like, are you kidding me? Like, go to jail. Like, geez. Like, they didn't cheat on their spouses and stuff, but like, you've been lying for all these years and like, you wouldn't question like, damn, I wonder what else he's lying about.
Right?
Like, God damn.
You lied about everything and you're just going to act like, oh yeah, well, I guess you just lied about everything. Like, yeah, it's just, it was definitely like when it plays that, tries to go for that emotional turn, it's not warranted. Like I think it touches you because of like John Cena's story. But then when you think about like the reality of the other guys' stories, you're like, okay, yeah, like this is just ridiculous. I like the aspect that the Bible like kind of, changed him as a person. He's just a raging alcoholic singing songs about boners in Atlantic City. And that changes him, kind of like given the second chance opportunity to change his life and turn it around. That I felt like that connected just because of, the charisma that John Cena displays as this character. But yeah, when it comes to like Zac Efron and Andrew Santino's characters, like you're just like, okay, they're just assholes. This doesn't work at all. I think everyone in their lives would be, second guessing, what their relationship meant to, themselves.
Yeah, so that, other than that, though, that was like my real only gripe with the movie. But just because of how wholesome overall John Cena's story is within the movie, that made it really fun. I really like the dynamic of him coming into the office with William H. Macy and stuff too. But yeah, so overall, like, it's a movie that like I don't have necessarily a lot to say, but I'm glad I watched it and like had a reason to watch it for this show. And, if you guys want to talk about it, like, I'm down for it.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say like if you have Prime and you're just looking for a laugh, like I think it at least will give you a couple chuckles, whether it's, some of John Cena's ridiculous boner jams or, some of the hijinks that ensue at many of the parties that he's invited to, and he's just showboating. It almost feels like, especially I love like that kind of dick measuring contest that he does with William H. Macy's character. Like it was funny to just see him like get in over his head, but then somehow has his head above water and William H. Macy comes out being like, wow, I really respect that guy for telling me the truth. I'm always surrounded by yes men, I was just like, dude, it's just so, I think some of those little moments are really hilarious. But overall, the film, I do feel like I'm glad this was only on streaming, because I would be disappointed if I saw this in theaters. It does feel like very reserved at times, not just the comedy aspect, but reserved in like the set pieces almost. They feel like they just got like some of the producers' houses to film at, and they worked with favors, like, oh, we know an office, like let's just shoot in there or something.
It was just a classic WeWork building, and
Yeah.
just like one really nice house to film at, and then like you could have filmed that at any club for the sequences that took place in Atlantic City. But yeah, you know, it works well for the movie it is. It feels very direct to streaming, which is just surprising because we do have a lot of big name actors. Like, you know, these actors all can draw people into the cinemas. Maybe not like, you know, get a huge box office smash, but, you know, the Farrelly brothers, you know, they're still directors that everyone will remember and, you know, hold dear to their heart with movies like Dumb and Dumber and There's Something About Mary. Maybe Green Book for you, but I know that movie hasn't aged well for a lot of people, though, despite that being very recent. But, you know, this movie's on Amazon Prime. Like you said, I do recommend checking out if you have it. If you really want to see it, though, if we're hyping it up for you, you can rent it through our Amazon affiliate link in our description box below. That's a great way to help support the show as well.
And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and click that notification bell to get all of our latest updates.
And speaking of updates, be sure to catch all our social media links down below. We got Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and we also have our own personal Letterboxd accounts. That'll conclude this week's episode. Tune in next week for a brand new video.